Welcome to another cast brought to you by StarCastTV. I am Nyoken, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. It is going to be a StarCraft End of the World style 9-game series between Light and Zero. So I'm hyped for this because this is just going to give us a taste of what we're going to see in the actual ASL finals in a week or so from now. And our maps are going to be previous ladder maps and also the current ASL maps. So really we can see how these players have evolved their play from in the past to what they're going to show us in the current ASL. So I'm really excited for this, and Light for me is my second favorite Terran, of course, behind Flash. But when Light was coming up, I actually thought that he was going to be the guy that was going to re-energize the Terran race, but it ended up never happening. But let's just get back into this game real quick. We've got an 8 racks on our hands, so Light is already just turning up the juice from the get-go. But as I was saying, Light, I really was looking to him to be the next big name for Terran. Of course, that never really happened. He was always overshadowed by Flash. He never ended up getting a title until just recently winning the KSL. And on the other hand, we've got Zero. This guy's absolutely amazing. He hasn't even been playing as long as the other Zergs, and he's already arguably the best Zerg out of all of them. He's got really good Zerg versus Protoss, of course known for his 973 style, but his Zerg versus Terran is impeccable. Probably the best Zerg versus Terran, I think, out of all the Zergs right now. He can really bring it to Flash, and for those of you that have watched the Flash versus Zero series, you know Zero brought his A game. So I'm really excited to see him go up against Light, because Light has some of the best Terran versus Zerg. Now back on Light side of the map, we do have a fast gas coming down, so it is an 8 racks into factory play. We're going to have a very quick vulture follow-up. Now this is not a style that I usually see that often. The gas went down at about 10 SCVs, so he's really cutting his econ and really looking to get a lot of damage done. Now this might catch Zero off guard, because most of the time when you follow up with an 8 racks, it's not this fast, I don't think. So here comes the first Marine. 2 SCVs are already here. He is going to put down a bunker. Now the drones are going to be being pulled off, and what you really want to leave is 3 drones on the mineral line to keep mining, so you can actually continue to build lings and build drones. So that's exactly what we see from Zero. So this is perfect defense so far. Drones are trying to catch these Marines, and you can see that he has his Overlord within range of the geyser, so he can drill there if he has to. And that's what he's looking to do. He's setting up. Now the Rax has floated back to the main. He's going to create a wall off here. So it is just 3 Marines and 2 SCVs. But this has already caused a lot of lost mining time. Marines getting in from the back. Drones coming in. Oh, he does manage to take out 1 drone. But look how many shots that drone took without actually falling. And Zero is going to clean this up, I think, pretty easily. Oh, maybe not. He's going to lose more than I thought. He overestimated the power of his drones there, ends up losing an extra drone for free. I remember people talking about how trading your Marines for about 3 drones is about even. So he got 4 there, so he's a little bit ahead. Now, of course, Zero is obligated to delay his gas because he's gone for this. And he's going to come in here and see that this factory is already done. Now, he does need to land this Rax. Perfect timing here. Now, this is something that we've been seeing from Light very often, which is the Wraith follow-up. This time it looks like it's only going to be 1. So this may not actually be for Wraith. It could just be for a Vulture drop. Meanwhile, Light has his SCV still alive on this side of the map, so he does confirm that Zero has a very, very delayed gas, and most likely this is going to be a 3-hatch follow-up. The drone looks AFK, like it wants to build a 3rd hatchery. The Lings got in, but with the Vulture here, able to clean it up very easily. I didn't see how many kills it actually got, but the Lings do confirm that the starport is down. So that's going to probably call for a Hydra Den pretty soon. Meanwhile, Command Center does go down for Light. He is going to be transitioning out of this. It is not just going to be an all-in Vulture Wraith play or something weird like that, but here comes the first Wraith. Hydra Den at the natural, as expected. I am a little bit surprised we don't see the 3rd hatchery just yet, but it is Zero spending all of his money, so he doesn't have the resources for the 3rd hatch just yet. Looks like this drone is probably going to go down to bottom right, build a hatchery there, because this does look like 1-1-1 right now. So Zero, with his late lair, is going to have to make something happen, going for a 3rd hatch, get his econ really rolling if he wants to stop the incoming Marine medic potentially Wraith play, but definitely some type of tech out of the starport. Still no lair just yet. Ooh, it looks like he's just going to go for it. I think this is just going to be a 3-hatch Hydra bust. Try and catch the Terran off guard. But with the Wraith already out, I feel like this is going to be a bit of a misstep from Zero. The Wraith is going to kill the Overlord. It's going to come in here and see there's no lair. And if there's no lair, what else could it really be? The supply block really hurts too. 24 out of 18. He did catch up in the workers, but still no tech. Absolutely no tech. The lair, this is absolutely genius to have that lair morph right then, because this looks like the lair could have been almost done by now, but we see that it just started. So maybe this can actually catch Light off guard. I think that this is still going to be a completed lair. Go for Overlord speed, but maybe not. We'll have to wait and see what he wants to go for, but speed kicks in for the Hydra, and now Light should know what's going on. There's no reason for Zero to have Hydra speed at this point, so this can really only be a bust. Oh, the mine barely gets taken out. Ooh, almost finds another hit there onto the Hydralisk. But Light is looking fantastic. He's got his Nat up and running. He's got perfect saturation here. It's 11 SCVs, so 8 on the minerals, 3 on the gas. Meanwhile, perfect saturation in the main. Really all that's lacking for him is the science facility and the academy. This hatchery honestly might go down because a bunker is getting put up. 2 Marines somehow scooted by all the way to the bottom side. And if this hatchery goes down, what does really Zero have to fall back on? He only has 2 hatch production. He has just started his fire. Meanwhile, Nat is already up and running for Light. He's already got his science facility almost done. eBay has started too. Cloak is coming in. This is actually what I was kind of expecting Light to go for, which was Mass Wraith and Cloak with a bunch of Marine Medic. But it looks like it's kind of a hybrid with Cloaked Wraith and also a science facility. Now 3 Wraiths are out on the map, and he can start bursting down a bunch of Overlords really easily. Also 3 is the magic number to 2-shot drones. Look how fast that Overlord goes down. There's 1 down, 2 down. He's going to be supply blocked now. He also sees the Spire and Cloaks kick in. And now these drones are all going to die. There's also no speed on the Overlords, which I thought he really was going to get once he had gotten the Hydra upgrades. So Zero is in real trouble. He's trying to get up a 3rd hatch at bottom middle, but I feel like that this game is already basically over. There's absolutely no econ for Zero. There's no Overlords even either. He's just permanently supply blocked. He's going to lose another Overlord. Complete map control and complete domination from Light in this game. So it looks like, at least so far, Light has got Zero's number. Really just, he's just completely countered Zero this entire game. Really just dominating him. So Zero's going to have to recover in the next couple games. Otherwise, this might be a quick series because Light made this look convincing. 3rd hatch does get found. It's going to take an absolute miracle for Zero to hold this base. He's trying to send out 3 Hydralisks, but there's 3 Vultures, there's 3 Wraiths, and there's 2 Marines. And all of these units can beat these Hydras when they're all clumped up together. Cloak kicks in. Probably going to kill off these Hydras pretty easily. Looks like the Hydras do manage to take out almost all of the ground, but not all of them completely. Still, the Wraiths are alive. Hatchery is still continuing to be focused down. Wraith might actually fall, but again, not a huge deal. Back in the main of Zero, we have first 3 Mutalisks coming out, but what can those really do? There's turrets everywhere at the main natural. There's even 2 science vessels, and they have irradiate because this science facility is already floating in the air. So this is just a matter of time before Zero taps out. We're going to have a quick game 1 going over to Light. 4th and 5th factory coming down, +1 has started. Academy upgrades have started. Just really waiting for the irradiate to kick in. Here he comes with that vessel. I wouldn't be surprised if Zero just taps out as soon as it kicks in. There's the first irradiate. He split his Mutalisks up, which is great, but look at the supply. Down 15 supply, down 11 workers, no tech at all. 3rd base has been continuously denied. He did force out both of the irradiates, but we need more than that. Also, how do we stop this ground army? It's a group of Marine Medic with a couple tanks, a couple vessels, and all we have on Zero side of the map is 1 sunken, lurker upgrade not even done, Hive has started, but feels like Zero's just kind of dragging the game on a little bit. Really just waiting for the GG timing. 9 Mutalisk. Can they make magic happen versus the Marines? The Marines, remember, they may not have... Oh my god, a perfect Irradiate. Deals so much damage. A perfect split from Zero also. But unfortunately for him, he's just way too far behind. There's no counter to these Marines and the tanks. Look at how much damage the Wraiths even soak up. Amazing play from Light. So that's a very easy game 1 going over to Light. Remember, this is a 9-game series, not a best of 9, a 9-game series. So that means all 9 games are going to be played regardless of whether someone goes 5-0 or whatever their score is in the first 5 games. So let's see if Zero can turn it around on Circuit Breakers, which is our second map. Remember, these are ASL maps and ladder maps. I looked at all 9 games, and we are going to have ladder maps in the initial stages. I think Blockchain is near the end, but first couple games just gonna be standard ladder maps that everybody knows and loves. Now in the bottom right we do have Zero, and in the top right we do have Light. So Zero got a little bit caught there in the last game, a little overly greedy with his drone control. It was very good in the initial phases, but as soon as he pulled off all of his drones to have that one drone one-on-one the Marine, I think that kind of was a bit of overconfidence from Zero. And you know, one drone may have not sealed the deal for Light, of course, but definitely didn't help. Now what does Light want to go for? I think if I was Light, I actually would do the same thing, because it was so good. And when you go for an aggressive play in the early stages, I don't think that Zero is going to think like, oh, I'm going to get 8 racks again. So I think this would be a perfect opportunity to go for another 8 racks. But as I say that, looks like Zero has other plans, and he is actually going for a 9 pool. So the 8 racks would have gotten instantly countered. So good play from Light so far to not fall into the hands of Zero here and go for an aggressive play. Now, what a lot of players do sometimes is after they go for an aggressive play, they go for a super greedy play. This time we don't see the 14 command center, which is very good for Light. He is just going standard, 1 rack so far. We're going to have to pay attention to whether he's going to put his gas down. We know that Goliath play is still popular these days. With Light in particular, Wraith play is very popular for him. And we saw that in the last game. But it doesn't look like we're going to have any gas this time. He is just queuing up a couple more SCVs. So this is going to be standard play from him. Now what I see from Light most of the time is he doesn't really play 5 racks that often. Generally, he plays what I actually like, which is the 4 racks play. He goes into more conservative play. He goes for faster tech. He has a better power spike around the 10-minute, 10:30 time, as opposed to the 5 rack, which is very powerful from 7 minutes to about 10 minutes, but delayed their tech a little bit. Now Lings are going across the map, and unfortunately for him, he's finding Light last. So these Zerglings are going to need to change their course pretty soon. Looks like he does change it at a pretty good time. He's not going to... Uh-oh, what's this? 3 SCVs going out. Now I'm kind of confused why there's a 3rd SCV here. Second SCV is pretty standard, does scout that the Lings are coming, and an instant pull of SCVs trying to block the ramp. Now it is only 1 Marine, and he's pulling so many SCVs here. Ooh, 2 SCVs are going to go down, it looks like, maybe even 3. This is a good hold from Light, but also an expensive loss for him. He lost 3 SCVs. He's still ahead in workers, but in my opinion, if you lose more than 2 SCVs holding a 9 pool, it's in favor of the Zerg, I think, personally. Now behind this, we do have the Nat going up 4-0. It's about 75% of the way done. He is mining gas. He has started speed also, so it looks like he wants to keep up the pressure. A lot of Terran players will move across the map to put back pressure onto the Zerg player once they lose the Marines like this. Now we can see that Light is sneakily moving around the side, trying to avoid this Overlord, and he does manage to avoid it for now. He only sees 2 Lings have come out, so these 4 Marines he thinks he can get a lot of damage done. And unknowing to him, there's going to be 4 or 6 Lings ready and waiting for him. So these Marines are definitely going to get caught It would be a huge anti-timing to try and attack here. Speed's about to kick in, and Light has no idea because the Lings haven't been shown, speed hasn't been shown. Smartly, he turns around. Somehow he has sniffed it out. He's also started a bunker, so he knows somehow exactly what's going on, and you know Zero's looking for those kills. He's trying to find those Marines. That was a perfect turnaround from Light. And now Zero is in big time trouble because he built all these Lings, but what can he really do with them? Luckily for him, they haven't been scouted just yet. Here he comes. I don't think he's going to have really any success here. Lings trying to get on top of these Marines. He does mow down a bunch of them. 4 Lings do get into the main, and honestly, that's a lot of Lings that can deal a lot of damage, just like in Zerg versus Protoss. Lings are being pulled off. Behind this, Zero continuing to Ling all in. There's no follow-up. There's no Hydrogen, no Spire, or anything. So he really just wants to end this game with pure Lings. Academy gets delayed for now. Light really falling apart here. A lot of SCVs are kind of just misplaced. Bunker only has 1 Marine. Luckily, SCVs and Marines on hold position on the top side of the map. Or on the top side of the ramp, I mean. Now back in Zero's base, Spire has started. But this is so many Lings. If Light can hold, he's going to be in a fantastic position. But this is so many Lings trying to surround the bunker. But looks like Zero kind of misstepped here. No, he didn't. Lings from the back. Kill this Marine. Bunker goes down. SCV's on hold position again, doing a good job. But the command center has been lifted. But so many Lings have been built. But the problem for Light now is he doesn't have any barracks, really. He has 2 barracks. He has no gas mining. He can't even get stem. He can't get range or anything. And meanwhile, these 4 Lings are still alive. Ling is trying to come in through the front. Oh, there's a gap! Gets into the main. And now it's more than likely Light going to be the one ending or getting out of this game very soon. Medic pops out, but there's no Marines left over. Zero's done it. There's just flat out too many Zerglings at this point. We've got just non-stop Lings pouring out. Drones have finally started to build. Spire's about done. He doesn't have that much gas, but remember, Light has no stim. He has no range. He has 1 Firebat and 1 Medic and 1 Marine also. Now those 2 go down. So this is going to be game over. This is going to be Light going down. Zero tying up the series 1-1 in a very fast game. Looks like both of these players just want to end it quickly. We've had a 10-minute game followed up with about a 6-minute game. And once these Mutalisks come out, I think that it's going to be Light tapping out. We're building pure Firebats. We also have no eBay. So there's 0 anti-air. Absolutely none. First Muta coming across the map. Zero is pretty all in with this. Not even mining gas at its natural because he can't afford to. SCV comes in, sees that there's no gas at the natural. I guess Zero is only worried about getting countered, so he puts down a sunken colony. But those are Firebats, bro. We are not scared of Firebats versus Mutalisks, and the Firebats walk so slow. Remember, they still don't have stem. Stem isn't even being upgraded. So that's going to be GG any moment now. There it is. GG. Zero takes game 2, and the series is tied up 1-1. So let us get into game 3. Looks like this is going to be Horizon Lunar Colony, a new ASL map. And I was looking at this earlier. This map kind of reminds me of Tripod a little bit. I think it's more the terrain color that reminds me of it than anything else. Also the high ground, low ground kind of reminds me of it, except this is a 4-player map and Tripod was a 3-player map. And we're going to reveal the entire map just so everybody can see how the bases are laid out. Now, one thing to point out about this particular map is the mains have huge areas for drop. So we could have a drop here, a drop here. You know, there's tons of potential for drops. And also, there are close by air positions. So we do actually have close by air here. We've got Zero at bottom middle, Light at mid right. And this might actually be what I thought Light was going to do in game 1, which was go mass Wraith. Because we know that he loves Wraith play. At least recently he does. He's even gone for 1 base 2 starport Wraith. And when he sees that this Overlord gets in here, he may actually deviate his play into something like that. Now, what does Zero want to do? He looks like we're going to have another 9 pool coming out from him. So he wants to continue the aggression. Now, I'm not someone that plays this map ever because it's not on the ladder. So I'm not too sure about current meta on this particular map, whether 14 Command Center is the popular build on here. Also, these games are from a couple weeks ago, so you have to remember that this may just be the pros' initial reaction to how to play the maps. Now we do have a 10-10-10 coming down from Light, so this is going to be a high gas intensive build. The Overlord did see the depot, and I don't think Light saw the Overlord. So Zero already knows where Light is, whereas Light has no idea that he's already been scouted. Now luckily for him, with Zero turning around, Zero doesn't actually know whether this is a gas play, whether this is 14 Command Center, what exactly this is, because all he knows is what the spawn is. He didn't get a check on the gas, he didn't get any other intel. Now, first 6 Lings are coming out. This is going to be a fast gas follow-up. So everything looks very similar to our last game. I expect this time probably to go into lair instead of speed, because as I said, close by air positions, the faster you can get your Mutalisks across the map, the faster that you can start harassing those depots, harassing turrets, harassing everything. Now Rax is going to get floated into position. This should be a full wall off. Oh, this might backfire! Oh, you gotta land that, man. You gotta land it. Lings are gonna be there any moment now. Okay, he does land it. Depot is gonna create the full wall off. I don't think there's a gap here, but he's gonna need to repair this depot pretty quickly. This factory may even get bursted down because this is a lot of surface area actually. What? It's not a full wall. So actually Lings just get into the base. It looked like it was a full wall. So as I said, this was from a few weeks ago. You know for a fact now, Light has figured out how to wall this position if he gets it again in the ASL coming up. But overall, despite the Lings getting in, this is really good defense. He's lost basically nothing. Eliminated 2 of the Zerglings. Vulture coming out. Now, one thing that this does do is it does disrupt the overall build for Light. I really do think that this was going to be Wraith play, and now that he's pulled off of gas, that's obviously completely out of the question now. Vulture pops out. Lings, did the Lings even kill anything? Both Marines survived. I think every single SCV survived too. So really, the Lings, they got off a good scout, but that's all they did. Really not a lot of damage done. And as expected, Lair is coming up extremely fast. Sunken Colony may not be up in time for this Vulture. He's going to need to put his drone on the ramp or something. There we go. Drone and Ling pops out to hold position on the ramp. But this Vulture can just sneak by into the bottom side if he wants to. Actually, he's just going to turn around. I think that's a smart move. But he sees that there's only 2 drones. A couple more Lings were made, and the Sunken was made. So this is 100% going to be 2-hatch play, I think, from Light's point of view. And the Spire does start. We do have Armory coming down. So I think that this is just going to be a reactionary Armory play. I do really think that this was potentially going to be Wraith, but now that everything got scouted and the Lings disrupted the overall build, he is just going to transition into Goliath. I don't see a starport anywhere. I only see 1 factory, so there may not actually be enough Goliath to fend off these Mutalisks. And these Mutalisks are going to be coming pretty soon. The Spire is about halfway done. The Armory isn't even done yet. And with Goliath, you really need range. And range is one of the longest upgrades in the game. So there's going to be a real long time where Zerg can just run amok in the main. Also, I'm not seeing an eBay anywhere. So it looks like Light does not think that this is a 2-hatch Spire play, because this eBay at 520, I don't know. The spawns are really close. They're really, really close. It looks like he may just barely get this eBay up in time. I think the Mutalisks are going to start morphing just now. That's going to put the eBay completing about when they morph. But by the time they get there, I really don't think we're going to have any completed turrets. This is razor thin. Razor thin. Now, what does Light want to go for with his Goliath? We've been seeing more often these days actually bio mech, which is unusual, something only Fantasy really played. Vulture sneaks into the left side, and that's super annoying. But the Mutalisks should be able to clean it up. Now they're just going to pop this Vulture, but here come those Mutas. Looks like the turrets are actually going to complete, so this timing from light was actually perfect. But he's going to have to build so many turrets just to defend that. He's got 6 turrets going up. A lot of times when you're playing mech like this, you're only building 4. You're really skimping on the turrets in exchange for getting a lot of Goliaths. But impeccable timing. Turret completes at the natural, just barely in time. Range is almost complete too. We don't see +1 weapon or +1 armor just yet. Okay, we do see +1 weapon now. So this is going to be split map style Terran versus Zerg mech. He is not going for the flash style with the +1 armor. And meanwhile, Zero, I don't see any type of upgrade coming in for him. There's no +1 damage, there's no +1 armor. Lings and Mutas trying to get into the main. Now, as I said, this factory was pretty late and there wasn't a second factory for a long time. So not very many Goliaths left over. Meanwhile, there are 8 Mutalisks that can deal a lot of damage. The 2 turrets got taken out at the factories. And that's a lot of damage that can be done by these Mutalisks. But they're so bruised that he's got to be very careful to not lose them all. He's down to 4 Mutalisks. He had 9. Now he's back up to 7. So now Light is actually the one that has to be careful. It's going to be 8 Mutalisks pretty soon. And there's really no turrets to support these Goliaths, at least on the factory. Taking out that SCV, building that turret. Zero doing a good job to keep the Goliath count down, the turret count down. But I am worried that we have so few drones that we're not able to transition into anything. Looks like we're going to be taking mid-left with this drone. But our econ is really in shambles. He's only got 22 drones total. 6 of them are on the gas, so really not a lot of econ coming in for the minerals for him. And I don't see a Hydrogen anywhere. Again, okay, we do have armor upgrade coming in for Zero. So he's actually going into a style that we see more often these days. A lot of times the +1 armor signified that they were going for Guardians, but that doesn't even necessarily, that's not even necessarily the case these days. A lot of times I do just see +1 armor and no transition into Guardians. So this could be for Guardians, but it doesn't have to be. This could just be pure mass armor Mutalisks, which does fare fairly well versus Goliath. Now we do have the first couple vultures coming out. This is because 2 vultures with +1 weapon can start 2-shotting drones. So he's looking to get some harassment done. Unknowing to him though, there's really just not that many drones to actually kill. And I don't think he's going to be able to get into the natural. So these vultures, luckily for him, he's only built 2, because really they're not going to be able to deal much damage at all. You've got the starport coming in. Science facility is going to start pretty soon. It's honestly a little bit late because +1 weapon's about to complete. Vulture comes out and instantly gets taken out. So Zero's doing a good job to keep Light back in his base. Still only 2 factories for Light. This is kind of the drawback to playing this style. You have a low factory count for a very long time. You really give up a lot of map control to the Zerg. And even if you want to harass, it's not like you can build 10 vultures all at once. You can only build 2 at a time. This is really very similar to 2-1 in the Terran versus Protoss matchup. Now we do have +1 armor starting, and I'm a little bit surprised by this, unless we see a second armory, but I don't see a second armory anywhere. So it looks like this is kind of Light, kind of botching his build a little bit, and I think he might be a little bit tilted because he's starting to move out with Goliaths, and really these are just free depot kills for Zero if he wanted. Instead he is going to respect the attack coming in from Light, but it's really not that many. It's 9, 10, 11 Goliaths plus a couple vultures versus Mutalisks that do have +1 armor pretty soon. He's also got Hydras coming in. He's got 4, 5 hatches complete. So this is going to be very similar to Zerg versus Protoss, where you're just able to pump out tons and tons of Hydras very quickly. Now these 2 vultures did manage to get around the left side of the map. And the drones are isolated. This could be free kills for him. He doesn't find a hatchery at mid-left. He's going to go bottom left now, more than likely. But the Mutalisks find one of the vultures, catches it. But I think that this is... Ooh, vulture drop. Here we go. So starport drop into the main. Gets 2 drones so far. 3? 4? How many can he get? If he can get a couple more, that's going to be well worth the investment. Especially if these mines can hit these Hydralisks. Ooh, he's trying to find some drones, but not able to get... Oh, look at this genius play. Zero stacks up all of his drones right on this mineral patch and puts the overlords there, so it makes it almost impossible to target them. Now he's able to get a couple more. 5th drone going down. These Mutalisks were dealing with the vulture at top left, and now they're finally going to come back and deal with this vulture harassment. But now Light has built up a sizable army. He's also got vessels coming out. So those 2 vultures in the dropship really bought a lot of time. But also at the same time, Zero is closing the gap in supply. There's a 20 worker difference, so that makes it almost even in terms of actual army count. And +1 armor Mutalisks are very, very good. But with the Radiate out in play, that is going to nullify the power of these Mutalisks. So Zero does have to be very careful to make sure he gets a perfect surround with the Hydras, because the Hydras are really what's going to deal all of the damage here. Another drop going to the left side, but gets caught by the Mutalisks. Really good job by Zero so far. Now, as I was saying, drops very powerful on this map. We do have drop play coming in for Zero right now. He's got +1 weapon coming in for his Hydras any moment now. Light on the other side of the map has finally started +2 weapon, so he's going to have a 1-1 power spike, but it's not going to be that super powerful 2-1 power spike that you were expecting him to go for. I'm honestly kind of confused at what he's going for. Is he just going to try and split the map? Looks like that's what he's doing so far. And when Zerg is on 3 bases like this, and you're really not able to keep them in check, they can build a ton of queens, and queens are the direct counter to this style. So I don't know if Light is going to go for a timing pretty soon. Feels like he should, because I see that he has multiple vessels out. I think he does, or is this the only one? Maybe he does only have 1 vessel. He's spending a lot of resources preventing drops. He's got so many turrets down here, so many mines set up. As I was saying, this particular map, very popular for dropping. So it looks like we are just going to have a split map scenario, because Light's not going out for the attack. He's slowly building up his tank count, slowly building up his vessel count. Meanwhile, Zero's got other plans, because these Mutalisks are going to go to the top side. This is going to draw all of the Goliaths up here, and then he's probably going to attack the natural. Or he's not. Here we go. He drew the units out of position so that the Mutalisks could have easy access onto the command center. But here comes Light. He's up 40 supply, and Queen has to have the perfect surround, because Hydras are good, but not versus a 1-1 army like this and no real support for the Hydras. There's also a decent amount of tanks. There's so many tanks. There's 7 tanks here. He has high ground advantage, but these vessels, they have enough for defensive matrix. Almost 2 of them. Command center goes down. So this is just going to be a straight up base trade scenario, I guess. Light setting up. This is buying time for Zero to get out more units, though. Here come the Mutalisks from the back. He's trying to catch some stragglers. Oh, but they get found. And Zero, here he goes. Defensive matrix onto the tank. He needs another defensive matrix. He has too much energy. He needs 2 more energy. Tanks are on the front. They're just getting bursted. But is there enough Hydras? There's so many tanks, so many Goliaths. Light is going to hold this attack. Supplies have plummeted for Zero. And this is going to be Light pushing through. He's got more tanks, more Goliaths coming across the map. He's got 5 factories. Macro slipped a little bit. He's at 1,500 resources. But as I was saying, without queens, it's so hard to stop this attack. Pure Hydras, sure, they're good, but tanks are really strong, especially with defensive matrix. So Zero, he had the angle, but it's just flat out not enough. Too much production from Light right now. Tanks are now set up into position, and now we're in big trouble. We're choked up. That is not where you want to be. If these tanks can get right here, you can all of a sudden shell Hydras coming down from the main. But Zero does have a lot of hatcheries spread across the map. He can still hit coming around the side. So the game's not over. He also has a 4th base up here that he needs to get up and running. He's got +2 weapon coming in pretty soon. He's got a contingency group of Hydras trying to cut off reinforcements, which he might actually be able to do here. 2 tanks getting cut off is a big deal. He's going to try and go for a counterattack. Top right is being taken from Light again. I don't think these Hydras are going to do very well this time. 4 tanks are going to obliterate this group of Hydras very easily. Supplies are still 120 to 60, so probably Zero going to be tapping out pretty soon. Half of his production going down. Both of these hatcheries fall. And now, oh, he's got to drop into the main. But I think there's just too much Terran at this point. There's really not good econ on the left side. There's not enough production here either. And Light's double expanding. He's also got 2-1 kicked in now. So everything looks great for him. It's just a matter of time. Maybe this is going to be the last attack. Oh, a big hit onto the Hydras with that mine. And defensive matrix into the main. This is going to be it. Light's going to take this game. He's going to go up 2-1 in the series unless there's some type of heroic hold. Nope, that's it. GG. So Light up 2-1 in our series. Let's see what our fourth map is going to be. It is Escalade, another ASL map. In the bottom left, we have our Zerg player. He's down 2-1. It is 0. And in the bottom right, we've got the red Terran. It is Light. So Escalade, another new ASL map. It is also in the ladder pool, and I play Terran versus Protoss on here very often. And just like on our last map, there's a lot of ramps. Ramp here, a lot of high ground everywhere. Now, unlike the last map, well, actually there is a lot of area to drop in. You can see here there's a lot of potential for drops. So we may again see another type of drop play potential from 0, or we may see Light go for what I thought was going to be Wraith play. Now this is a fast SCV coming out. This could be a wall off at the natural, or it could be for an 8 racks, and it is going to be an 8 racks. So again, Light is going to be the one getting aggressive. Now we saw back-to-back 9 pulls from 0, and it looks like that's not going to be the case this time. So it is most likely going to be another 12 hatch from him. We'll have to wait and see, is this going to be overpool or 12 pool. We already saw on Gladiator that Light followed it up with gas. So he may be going back into that because he's had good success with the gas play so far, getting victories on Gladiator and now on Horizon Lunar Colony. Yep, this is going to be a 12 hatch. Now, like I was saying, there's a lot of high ground here. So it is very hard for Terran to move up these ramps. And if he gets drilled on and he doesn't see the drill coming, it's very easy to lose your Marines and SCVs very quickly. Now Light again has gone for the gas follow-up. It is again a very quick gas, very quick gas. So this is going to be a very fast factory follow-up. Again, looks basically identical to the Gladiator game. Here comes that SCV. Ooh, he doesn't want to show himself just yet. He does know where 0 is, and this is going to look like just a standard scout. Oh, is the drone going to intercept this racks? It does intercept the racks, so at least 0 knows what's coming now. But is it going to be fast enough? He's going to have to pull some drones instantly, and he was going for a gas play, but he canceled it to get his drones out here in time. Bunker goes up. Ooh, drone gets caught! That's a great find. Now, I didn't see if the bunker got canceled. I think it did because it seems to have gotten bursted a little bit too far. Now, Light is the one with actual high ground advantage here, but it's still okay because he can still drill onto this mineral. Now, the factory has started, and we don't have any gas mining just yet. Here come those drones. They're trying to come around the back. Really good control from both sides. He's trying to focus down drones. He focuses down 2 Marines. I think we lost, I think it was 3 drones for those 3 Marines. Might have only been 2 drones, but regardless, really good hold from 0. I actually think it was only 2 drones this time. So better defense this time than Gladiator. But Lings are out on the map now, and now Light is the one that needs to hold this. And just like on Gladiator, he's continuing to mine gas a little more than he should, but he doesn't have 3 on there just yet, so it may have just been a miss pull off of the gas than Light really wanted to. But I do see 100 gas got built somewhere. There it is. There's the starport. So again, very similar to the Gladiator game. Starport's coming down. The Overlord does pretty much confirm that this is a gas play, so he's going to need to get a Sunken Colony down. He's going to need to get his Hydralisk down pretty soon. First Vulture is out on the map. We're going to have the Command Center follow up. Everything is exactly the same. So will Light go for the race, or will it just be another drop? Remember, this particular map has a lot of area to go for drops, so it would make sense to go for it. But I do think we're just going to see the standard Wraith follow up. We may actually just see the exact same thing, which was 3 Wraiths with Cloak into 1/1/1. Here comes the Wraith. And there's going to be no counter to losing the first few Overlords to this. There's no Hydroden just yet. Okay, Hydroden is halfway done. Lair has started. Now, unlike Gladiator, this time we do have a much faster lair. There's no third hatch anywhere. I do not expect to see range or speed come in for the Hydras. If we do, that would be extremely surprising to me. More than likely, I think that this is just going to be Lurkers, but maybe not. I have to wait and see what Zero wants to go for. Right now, he's honestly in a bit of trouble. Terran's got their natural up basically for free. He built 2 Vultures, but from what I understand, those units are pretty much free. And Zero does manage to take mid left. This is exactly what he needs if he's going to be going up against 1/1/1. He needs big econ or a fast 2 hatch, which we've already cannot do. Add-on comes down. I think this is going to be for a drop now. Nope. Second Wraith. So actually it is going to be the exact same thing. Cloak will be coming in pretty soon. Looks like not just yet, but I'm pretty sure it's coming in momentarily. Science facility is coming down. We don't have an academy or eBay anywhere, but that's okay because there's no range Hydras or speed Hydras coming in. Spire has just started. Zero is just powering like a madman. He's not going to risk going for an all-in like he did on Gladiator. Wraith does have 2 kills. It is from a Ling and just an Overlord, so not major losses. Not any major losses for Zero just yet. eBay started. Really, we're just waiting for both players to really just build up their army. We know that Light is going for 1/1/1 here. He's going to be putting down his barracks pretty soon. Academy is going to be coming down pretty soon. Doesn't look like we're going to have Cloak just yet. A Vestal is going to come out pretty soon. Wraith's going to find another kill, but it really hasn't done much damage. Unlike on Gladiator also, there's no bunker to deny the third base, so this is actually going to get up and running. Spire's about done, but by the time it's done, this vessel is going to be out on the map. It may not have a radiate, but it is going to at least exist. There are 3 Wraiths now, and we know that it killed a lot of Overlords in the previous game. And it looks like he's going to find a few kills here too, because there's only 1 Wraith to defend. Meanwhile, 2 Overlords just running into their death. That's 1 down, 2 down. This is going to supply block Zero also. That hurts. That really hurts. Can he get 3? He is going to get 3. And he actually manages to get away. The Mutas are not able to do any moving shots. So 3 Overlords for free. Didn't even have to get Cloak to save them either. Zero is in big time trouble. I don't see how he actually stops this attack. He's spending a lot of resources just to deal with the Wraiths. He even gets speed on his Overlords. But there's no Cloak, so he actually doesn't even need it this time. The drone count is extremely low at the third base because of the supply block. He's still basically supply blocked. So this is very, very painful. 3 Wraiths going to try and hold this. The turret goes down. So actually Zero's going to find a little bit of success here with the Mutalisk, but not too much. He's got about 3 SCVs with him, a couple Marines. Light's taking a lot of damage here. He needs to make sure he doesn't lose. Oh, there's the Irradiate that we were waiting for. A really good split, but it dealt so much damage. Mutas are very, very low. There's only 7 left, 3 of them heavily bruised, but at least he pulled the SCVs. Wow, forcing a lift. So actually, Zero finds success here with his Mutalisk play. A bit of an overly greedy Terran getting punished for only having 1 turret, And now, Zero, who I thought had no chance of actually salvaging this game, is going to force a lift up in that. Bunker's going to go down. He's really not even worried about the vessel just yet. He's going to get 2 depot kills potentially. May even focus down this Rax or command center. Meanwhile, Light is scrambling to get up his own barracks. He's got 2 completed, 2 more coming down. 3rd one is on fire. Wraiths are trying to deal some damage. Look at this patrol micro. Doesn't kill anything, but it looked pretty slick. But this is a lot of Mutalisks. This is so many Mutalisks. Irradiate is great though. So if he can get off 1 good Irradiate on this pack of Mutalisks, that's going to deal hundreds and hundreds of damage if there's no good split. Meanwhile, Zerg is transitioning out of it. He's got a lot of Hydras. He's got Lurker upgrades coming down. If he can just sit under this ramp with 6 Lurkers, how does Terran really bust out? He's starting to build tanks, but because he doesn't have his natural econ kicked in, there's no way he can support 5 racks and tanks and vessels. Something gotta give. So if the Lurker upgrades completes and Zero can set up a contain, I think Zero just runs away with this game. The drones are still 30 to 24, so he should be able to power pretty hard pretty soon. This is so many Hydras. So many Hydras. It's so many Hydras that I thought it was going to be a drop. But there is no drop just yet. 5 racks is done. +1 weapon is done. Range is not done though. But now we have multiple Irradiates. I think we have 3 available. So these Mutalisks could just get absolutely obliterated very quickly if Zero's not paying attention. The Mutalisks are moving off to the side. I like the science facility moving out, trying to get a little bit of vision. If he can see where the Mutalisks are, he can go irradiate them immediately. Now there's the Lurkers being morphed. It's not 8 of them just yet. Here come the Mutas. Ooh, really good control from Light, not taking any damage to the Scourge. Also a very good split from Queen to pull off those Mutalisks, but they are heavily damaged now, and this is a lot of bio with +1. If he goes for an attack, I don't think he can hold it, but the backstab would be very dangerous. Here he comes. Is he just going to wait? No, he's going to actually just show his hand. I don't think this was the move. He's trying to come in from all angles. Defensive matrix onto that 1 Marine. Manages to wipe out all the Lurkers, and now all that's left are damaged Mutalisks. So a bit of a misstep there from Zero. The idea was pretty good though. It went better than expected. Here come the Mutalisks again though. Do we have any Irradiates? There's 1 Irradiate left. So many Lurkers still here. There's a couple. Oh, actually, it's only 2. Somehow this Bio Ball survived. But now it finally falls. But we have 4 vessels now. And on Zerg's side of the map, he just now started Hive. There's no Defiler follow-up anytime soon. 4th macro hatch and 5th macro hatch coming up. Okay, that's what I was waiting for. Do we have the drone count? And we do. We have 37 drones to 32 SCVs. But this is 4 vessels. Tanks are starting to come out. More vessels are starting to come out. Once we get 5, 6 vessels, we're just going to have endless Irradiates. Absolutely endless. And the Mutalisks again trying to find an opening, but there is none. But Zerg should feel pretty good about that. Despite not killing any of the high-tech units, he's kept Terran back in his main. Mutas and Scourge try to find a kill, but they're not able to, and all he ends up doing is damaging 1 more vessel. So those can get repaired, and now we have 5 racks with a decent amount of Marines, with 1 tank, 5 vessels, another one comes out. Still not that many Irradiates just yet, but in a few seconds he's going to have 4 or 5 available. Zero's in trouble. His Hive has completed, but there's no Defiler Mound just yet, and that's going to take about 50 seconds. I think Consume is also around 50 seconds. So we're looking at a potential vulnerability for Light to exploit within the next minute and a half or so. So about 14:30 is when Zero should be airtight versus any type of attack. But before then, there's a real window of opportunity for Light to get damage done. Now luckily for him, he does snipe 1 of the vessels, but there's still 4 left over. We can see that Zero is trying to set up for a backstab. Smartly, Light hasn't moved out just yet. He does know that the Overlords can see him, and because of that, he's being a little more cautious. He even left 2 of these bunkers full of units because he knew that he was going to get backstabbed. Now here he goes. He is going to drop, and that's what I was talking about. There's a lot of area to drop in. Now Zero, despite setting up for this, ooh, a great defensive matrix, manages to save the dropship. He's not able to unload because the lings are still set up, but that was a really nice reaction from Light to save that dropship. And now he does keep it alive. He will be able to escort it back along with his vessels. How did he lose any vessels there? Looks like we only have 3 now. Okay, he does have 4. So he didn't lose any vessels either, so he's still in a good position. But Zerg being up 4 supply, that's never good for the Terran player. Also double expanding to top left, taking the main and the natural. He's got +1 armor already done. That's going to be matching the weapon upgrade of the Terran. Terran has +2, pretty much just started. This is a lot of Zerg. It's a lot of Terran too. But there's so many lings and lurkers coming in through the back. He's got to be careful though. A bit of, oh, is he going to get sandwiched? It doesn't look like he's going to get sandwiched. I think, oh, a huge hit. I thought Light was going to escort them through the top side of the map, but there's just too many spines. And the entire army gets wiped out. And now it's Zero in complete control of this game. I told you, Zerg really had about a minute-and-a-half window to be worried, but now Defilers are out. They've got Consume. He's now going to have Dark Swarm. Sure, there's still 3 vessels left, but there's not nearly as many. Also, they blew all of their irradiates on those lurkers, but there was like 20 lurkers. And he just taps out. He knows there's no way he can stop the incoming Ling Lurker Defiler attack. And now Zero evens up the series 2-2. So if you guys are wondering whether the next ASL Finals is going to be close, looks like it's going to be, because we've got alternating wins between both of these players. Let's get into Game 5, see who can take the 3-2 lead. That defensive matrix onto the dropship at the end was really sick, because there was a counterattack coming at the same time. So really nice reaction from Light there, but also equally nice game sense from Zero to know that a drop was coming. Also, he had Ling's position there, so that was absolutely fantastic. So now our 5th map is Polypoid. We've got Zero at the top right, we've got Light at bottom left. So let's take a look at this map. This is one of my most favorite new ASL maps. It's again a very standard map. You've got your standard natural, you've got some high ground. I think it's very similar to Sniper Ridge is the map in that sense, where there's high ground right outside your main. There's also this secondary base here, which is also very similar to Sniper Ridge. But again, just like we've been seeing on Escalade and Lunar Horizon, a lot of high ground changes. High ground here, low ground here, high ground up here, high ground here. A lot of terrain for you to exploit, just like on other maps like Gladiator. So back in the Terran side of the map, we don't have any aggressive play this time. It is not an 8-Rax. You're gonna have to wait and see what he wants to do with his money building up. Is it gonna be 14 Command Center? Is it gonna be 12 gas? Meanwhile, Zero, on the other hand, he is just going to be going for a standard 12 hatch follow-up. This still could be a 12 pool, but I think I'd be a bit surprised for it to see a 12 pool here unless he goes 12 pool gas. And it is going to be the standard 12 hatch. Now, Light, on the other hand, standard Rax follow-up. And as I was saying earlier, Light, well, he's not doing it. What I like about Light is a lot of times when he does play bio, he plays 4 racks or 3 racks tech, which is more cautious play. It's more, I'm just going to kind of control the flow of the game. I'm not necessarily going to like be in your face necessarily with 5 racks, but I'm going to have this super deadly strong army at around 10 minutes, 11 minutes. I'm going to be able to drop you quick. I'm going to be able to push with tanks and vessels quick. That's what I really like about Light, is he plays that type of style as opposed to somebody like Flash, who is just like all up in your face as fast as possible with as many units as possible. Oh, you got a 3rd base? I'm going to try and bust that down. That's not how Light generally plays. But as I said that, there's not going to be bio again. It is going to be more mech play. And I really thought that tech play had kind of fallen off simply because of how used it was with the Goliath play. I really did think that 111 was going to be coming back, which is what we've been seeing, but I am a bit surprised that we're seeing it this often. Really, the only game we've seen bio play so far was Circuit Breakers, which ended very quickly. So again, this is going to be some type of tech play. We are continuing to mine gas, so it doesn't look like this is going to be the Goliath build. A lot of times when you play the Goliath build, you pull off gas completely, get up your natural as fast as possible, but this still could be a Goliath play, and it looks like that is what it's going to be, because this, I'm guessing, is command center. Yep, it is a command center. Now back in Zero's main, lair is halfway done. So this is going to be another Spire opener, unless he wants to go for a Hydra Den within the next few seconds. And we do have add-on onto the factory. Now this could mean a variety of things. This could mean that it's going to be speed. It could, well, no, it could really only mean speed or mines. It's going to say it could still be, this is definitely armory. This is definitely an armory, but you would have built the armory first before the add-on if we were not going for speed. And there is speed coming in. Now, unluckily for him, well, I thought that the Ling would come up here and scout it, but the Ling isn't even going to show itself. So actually this is very lucky for him, because if the Ling did see this, he would know how to react to the incoming vulture very easily. Now there is the starport. Now where is the armory? This is going to be a Valkyrie follow-up, potentially? I think we need to build our armory if we're going to be going for Valkyries pretty soon. Or this could be science facility follow-up, which is a bit riskier to go for. You're going to be very reliant on saving your science vessel. Otherwise, the game's just going to end. And we've got effort in our presence. This is Burrow coming in. He thinks that this could be Wraith, or it could be used for Zergling pressure. But a lot of times, Zergs are getting Burrow now because they want to save their drones versus incoming 2-port Wraith. And because the Ling never really got up here and saw anything, he doesn't know if this is 2-port Wraith or if this is just tech. Now the Spire is done. 3 vultures are out on the map scouting for hidden bases. There are none just yet. It is a science facility follow-up, which I'm a little bit surprised, because this is very risky. You're heavily relying on turrets saving you, since you have absolutely no anti-air. Now 3 vultures are out, and if he can just keep the Mulus back, this is a win with his vultures. That's really all it comes down to. Just keep the Mulus back, let the vessel count slowly build up. That's great for you. Right here, that's a few seconds wasted on a vulture that's not in your main. Oh, and now turning it back. So this is great for Light so far. He desperately wants to get this vessel out. He does not want to see any Scourge being built. He wants to see only Mutalisk. Vulture's still running around. This is not good for Zero. He's in trouble. He's going to follow up with a Queen's Nest, and that's not the follow-up you need versus what we see Light going for. This is a complete mind game from Light, catching Zero completely off guard. He catches 2 drones now. He's going to intercept. Oh my god. I thought he might actually get that drone again. Look at this. Look at this shark in the back. He's going to catch a 3rd drone. Light the Madman. The Madman! He's going to get 4 drones with these 3 vultures, and the hatchery still hasn't gone up. There's still another vulture on the bottom side trying, or he could potentially find a drone, but not going to find it just yet. Ooh, he doesn't have any money to build a 3rd hatch. And back on the Terran side of the map, barracks are coming down. The Mutalisk did no damage. You're going to be stuck with mass Mutalisk versus mass Mutalisk versus Irradiate. We see that Zero's transitioning into fast upgrades. He's got +1 armor coming, but Terran's got matching +1 weapon, and he already has science facility tech, so he can instantly go into +2. So this is a huge win for Light. Also Zero, I'm not sure if he notices, but only has 1 on gas at his natural. Zero, when he comes in here, if he gets irradiated, he might just tap out. I mean, that's how much damage he's already taken. Yuta's trying to find an opening, but really there is none. No irradiate. There we go. There's... Ooh, that's a good irradiate. Deals a decent amount of damage. And he has a second vessel already. It also has another irradiate available. So I don't think Zero really expects this. A second irradiate? And he's waiting to get the most juicy irradiate possible, but not able to find any just yet. He's going to give up his depot and factory add-on, which I find to be a little bit surprising, but I guess he wants to really maximize the amount of damage he can deal with this irradiate. Meanwhile, vultures are just waiting for the drone transfer. He pops in to see that the hatchery just completed, so he knows drones are going to transfer pretty soon. Scourge luckily intercept the vultures, so Zero shouldn't really lose any drones to these vultures in the next couple minutes. But that's going to at least... Oh, he transfers anyways! And that's one drone going down. Ultralisk Cavern has come down. But... Ensnare? He got Ensnare too? So this is... If you guys watched ASL recently, we had Soma versus... Was it Light? I think it was also Light. Soma versus Light. And Soma used this. He went Ling, Ultra, Ensnare. But I don't know how this can possibly work. There's just not enough oomph with his army right now. I also don't see any queens anywhere. So unless he gets queens and can get the energy, I feel like these Marines just march across the map and end the game. There's 3 irradiates. There's defensive matrix, all possible on these science vessels. If we just put down 3 defensive matrix, this base is 100% dead. There's no way to stop it. Adrenaline, it looks like it's probably kicked in now. But this is a lot of bio. It's still set very close supply. 80 to 76. That's very close. But we need the Ultralisk to pop, like right now. Looks like they are actually going to pop. But Carapace hasn't kicked in just yet. There's no +3 on them. Vultures are very weak unless they have that +2 armor upgrade. But Light is waiting. Okay, there are the queens that I was waiting to find. There's going to be 1 Ensnare. Ooh, is it enough though? There's 1 defensive matrix, 2 Ensnares, but a double defensive matrix, and defensive matrix is so good. Here we go though, Ling Muta from the side. Is it enough? All the science vessels get taken out, but there's so much bio. Oh, he just mowed them down. We saw how fast those ultras just got erased, and Light is going to take the series 3-2. So let's get into game 6. This is so close. 3-2. In a style that we almost never see, the Ensnare Ling Ultra. Very rarely do you see that, and Soma did manage to pull it out in the current ASL just a few days ago. So our 6th map is Sylphid, and we do have Light at bottom left and Zero at bottom right. So very interesting style from Zero. It took a little bit too much damage from the vultures. I think it really could have worked. If he had have waited for the +3, I don't think he ended up going in before I think he went in before +3 kicked in, and that could have been make or break. Also, as I was saying, defensive matrix is absolutely amazing. So to have 3 of them was pretty crazy. Also, the angle that Light was able, or the position that Light was able to get into where he's up against the wall, made it that much harder for Zero to engage. Now this time, I think 100% of the time, this is going to be a wall. Okay, we've got another 8 racks, but it's an in-base 8 racks. So this is going to be some type of fast tech play. Oh ho ho, 888! Now this is a build that I learned from last, and this is pretty much the fastest vulture you can actually get. It is crazy how fast this is. So it's actually not going to be an 888, it's going to be like an 8810, but still, this is super fast. So it's going to be supply blocked for quite a while, but he's going to have the fastest factory you can possibly imagine, and he's probably going to proxy it either here or like around here. Now when you do this build, it is mandatory you proxy it because you need to get that vulture to their base as soon as possible. The faster you can get it there, the faster you can get the vulture there, and also the faster you can get the SCV there. And the SCV is very important. If you can block the drones from building a sunken colony, it's almost a free win for you. Now we see that Zero ended up going for 12 hatch again. He went pool before gas, so he's not going to be going for speed lair. It's going to be lair first. And now Zero's going to come in here and see like, that depot's extremely late, and why don't you have a second one? Now, he didn't get in and see the gas, but he may suspect that something's up, because why else would you be building this depot so late? But because he didn't get a full scout off, maybe he doesn't know that. Maybe this is just, okay, now he should know. There's absolutely no reason to have a third depot at this point. So he needs to transfer a couple drones here and make sure he gets the sunken down. Because oh, drone gets in. I don't think he saw gas though. So the question is does Zero realize that there's no reason to have a third depot at this point? And I think the answer is no. There's only one drone coming out, and it's okay. He does know. That's exactly what he needed. He needed that sunken colony up, but here comes that vulture, and one vulture can bully its way through into the main. He's gonna. Oh my god! Unluckily, he built a Zergling. Oh, a perfect catch! How? How did he catch that? And then he reinforces it. Oh. That is like some Flash level worker control right there. This game should have been over. And Zero manages to hold. Sure, he's down worker still, but he held the fastest vulture on the planet. And now, Light is stuck with a floating factory versus someone that's going 2-hatch Hydra. This is 2000 era style. Zerg versus Protoss. 2-hatch Hydra bust incoming. Zero knows that there's no production from this guy. At most, he's going to have one bunker, maybe like 5 Marines, and that's it. Speed is halfway done. He's just getting out another Overlord, and that's going to be Hydra time, baby. We are going to bust this Terran player for trying to play the most gimmicky build you can possibly play. Oh, Light, you are in trouble, dude. You better start mining gas and get a tank out pretty soon. Otherwise, this game's done. If he can push the vulture back, that would be great. But I don't even think he has to. He just needs to get up like 9 Hydras and then go. If he shows his hand before there's enough Hydras, Light's going to hold easily. But once we get like maybe 9, actually, bunkers are super strong. This may not actually work because the vulture is going to give him intel, and because there's no speed to actually keep the vulture from seeing the Hydras, I still think Terran can hold this. It's going to take a while for the Hydras to get across the map. 9 Hydras or 12 Hydras or whatever. A full repair on the bunker with a complete surround. The SCVs can hold it for a long time. I've seen Flash hold it for a long time. Ooh, did he see the Hydra just pop there? I think he did. Think he saw it. Yeah, he saw it. So that's going to be a second bunker. And with the second bunker coming up, that might just be all she wrote for Light. He also sees speed now. So he knows what's coming. It's 2-hatch. He's got 2 barracks up. He's got... Oh, his academy isn't done just yet. But he's in a prime position now to hold this. It's only about 10 to 12 Hydras. There are 2 bunkers. Wow. Light's actually going to hold this easily. But he needs to start pulling off some workers now. He's trying to debate any of these units into the bunkers. Here they are. He needs to pull off SCVs though. Dude. You know that he's building Hydras. You got to pull off. Okay, now he's pulling off a 3rd bunker even coming down. Now this is a lot of Hydras. This was not a lot of SCVs pulled off. First bunker is going to fall. And now these SCVs are not in position. Oh, the bunker holding strong, but it's not enough. And the Hydras are actually going to just barely bust through. There's no upgrades, no stem. It's only halfway done. All 3 bunkers go down. And Light with a huge blunder. Oh, He just needed to pull his workers off faster. He needed to pull all of his workers off. Oh man. Well, regardless, Zero with one of the best drone controls I've ever seen to fend off that incoming vulture attack. So let's get into game 7. Looks like these players just want to alternate wins back and forth, back and forth. So if you're a Light fan, that's a good sign for you because he's on pace to win game 7 and game 9. And our next map is going to be Whiteout. This is an older map. We saw it a couple seasons ago, and it was also on the ladder. I think that this is a very difficult map to play on because of the vision loss that you have in these areas with the trees. Units coming through cannot see pretty much anything. They have like spider mine level radius of vision. Meanwhile, air units of course have free reign over this area. So because of that, I think out of all the times to see a mech build, this is the time. Or all the times to see a Wraith play, this is the time. Because we can completely avoid that scenario of just getting picked off by Mutalisk. So let's see what Light has in store for us this time and what Zero has in store, because if he's thinking along the lines of what I'm thinking, which is abuse your superior vision, he could have gone for like an overpool gas here, try and get Mutas out as fast as possible, along with having a pretty decent econ. We haven't seen it all series long, but I would like that on this particular map. Looks like we're not going to get it this time because we are exceeding the 200 minerals. Meanwhile, Light, he is going to go for, I don't know, every time I've thought he's going to go for standard play, he's built the gas. He hasn't played bio really other than the circuit breaker game, which just ended very quickly. So we're waiting to see where these 100 minerals go. Looks like this is going to finally be a bio game, or we may see delayed mech, which is what Flash showed us in the ASL. But really, that's a very uncommon build. I don't expect to see that from Light. He is pretty much a standard guy other than the Wraith play. And again, Zero with the pool before gas. So it's going to be a little bit better econ. It's going to be straight lair for him. Now SCV coming in. He is going to see... Well, is he really going to get pushed back by one drone? The pros have the craziest worker control. Like, the drone control is incredible. If this was Larva, probably this SCV is already dead. Because that's just how good he is with it. Not that Zero's bad with it, but that's just like how hard Larva goes. Making sure that you do not ever get it. Look at these drone shots. Already 2 hits, 3, 4, 5, 6. This SCV is halfway dead. Halfway dead. It didn't even get into the main. So now he comes in, confirms that it's 2-hatch. 2-hatch is pretty much the de facto build these days, so there's no shocker here. Looks like I clicked off vision. Meanwhile, Light... Oh, I was confused. I thought he was going to land this for a wall and then continue to go bio behind it. So this is going to be a 2 racks follow-up. So now we're finally starting to see the more standard Light play. 2 racks follow-up. This is the standard play to follow versus 2-hatch openers. You must go 2 racks. If you go for fast +1, you flat out just don't have any units. Lings can literally just run you over. Also, a lot of times, the mutas just run you over. You have +1 coming, but it's never actually complete by the time the mutas get to your base. So it really just doesn't help you at all. And by the time it does, potentially your whole army's wiped out. So no shocker to see that this is going to be 2 racks. Now Zero, again, no shocker that this is going to be Spire play. We have been seeing more lurker openers these days, but we haven't seen any so far from Zero. So SCV tries to come in and scout. I'm actually surprised he didn't just go for it, but he does at least confirm that there are no Sunkens, there are no 3rd hatch there. There's, okay, he didn't confirm how many Lings were built. He only saw 4. And Zero does start his Spire. Meanwhile, Academy is about done. Whoa. So normal timing for the Academy is about 4 minutes, so this is slightly faster than usual. So this is going to be a fast Marine medic push, but he doesn't really have that many units. It's 6 Marines with 2 medics. How much damage can this actually deal? Doesn't really feel like it can actually deal very much. So he may just actually be getting these medics to just build up energy because he knows that a lot of Mutalisks are coming. So I think that's actually not a bad idea. If he was to move, okay, he is going to move out, but this is only 6 units. It is going to force out more Lings or a sunken colony, which we do see here. Now, of course, Zero doesn't know that this is only 6 Marines. He may have seen only 6, but Terran's never moving out with just 6. So he may end up building multiples. Oh, he canceled the sunken colony. He's content with just holding this with Mutalisks. So this is a perfect reaction from Zero. Not going to overreact. This fast Marine medic play actually isn't going to help him at all, other than helping him get range. Now this is extremely fast, +1 in combination with the Academy. So this is going to be actually a very powerful build. A lot of times you see a faster factory and skipping +1 weapon for a long time because really it doesn't come into play for about the next 2 minutes or so. SC moves out, he's gonna find the Mutalisk. Ooh, Marines almost intercept them. There's not that many Mutalisks just yet, but there are enough to one-shot Marines, so he's gotta be very careful. Slowly building up that Mutalisk count. Third base is up, taking the gas there. Now back in Zero's side of the map, I don't see a Queen's Nest anywhere. He is getting armor upgrade. This doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be Guardians, because more and more Zergs these days are going armor anyways. There you go, Mutalisks are trying to find an opening. Looked like there's a vulnerability right there at on the barracks. And if the Mutalisks just sit here, all Zero has to do is spam Sunkens. There are a lot of Marine medic out here, but 3 racks cannot deal with Mutalisks just sitting over top of your base. They can't. But I guess he feels like there's just flat out too much Marines out in the center of the map, so he is going to turn around. Sunkens are starting to get up, but if he stems for it, he might actually get there in time. He did stem, but he's kind of hesitating. He's trying to intercept these Mutalisks. Tries to find one, but doesn't actually manage to take it down. It looks like he may have his eyes set on mid-right. Meanwhile, his factory is pretty far along, surprisingly, for having +1. It is about 80% of the way done. 4th Rax is going to come in pretty soon. He does have good saturation at his natural. He still managed to keep his bio ball alive. He kept the Mutalisk back, which is a huge win for him. Picks off 1 Mutalisk there. Good job by Zero, though, to not overreact. He only built 2 Sunkens. His build has not been that hindered that much. He's continuing to find free kills on these Marines. There's about 1.5 groups of Marine medic, so it's really not that scary. He just has to come in from the right angle with these Mutalisks. Fire Bat into the 3rd base. Can it get any drone kills? It gets 1, 2, 3. It even forces a pull. So that's a win for Light there too. Now I'm looking again everywhere. Is there a Queen's Nest anywhere? No. This is just pure Mutalisks. And the clock is running out for Zero. +1 weapon has kicked in. The starports have started. They're almost done, actually. If a Radiate gets out versus Mass Mutalisks, Mutas ain't winning that. They are not winning that. And he doesn't even have to necessarily go for science vessels. He could go for armor. He could go for Valkyries if he scouted this. But here we go. Looks like we're going to have a base trade scenario. Mass Mutalisks jumping on to the Terran army, or into the Terran natural, but he backs off. He thinks that the counterattack is going to be too strong, but he doesn't know where it is. That's the problem with Zerg, is they don't know where the Terran army is if you can just stay out of vision, they have to guess, is it the 3rd? Is it the Nat? But the scan seems to have given it away, and now he knows that the Marines are just waiting here. But that is a lot of bio. This is 20 Mutalisks, though. He may just try and jump on it, but this is +1 armor versus +1 weapon. Which is stronger? Is it Marines or is it Mutalisks? Whittling down the Marine count just a little bit. Oh, double muta control there. I don't know. This is so hard to do. He's trying to do it, though. Double muta control. Okay. Okay, we're taking a lot of damage there. I don't know if... Okay, I think he just has too many mutas. It looks like he just has flat out too much. There's not enough bio. But this is so hard to control. The Marines are dealing a lot of damage. He's going to get his whole army wiped. But I'm not too worried for Light, because he's got 5 barracks. He's got +1 armor coming pretty soon. His vessels are about to pop. He's got a radiate almost done. And what does Zero have? He's got a lot of mutilis. That's great. But a radiate kills all of them. So I don't know. It feels like we've got to basically end the game within the next 20 seconds because a radiate is very close to completing. But this is so much production. So many turrets. Here he goes. So many turrets. So much bio. I don't think Zero can win this. That's a lot of mutilis, but they are so fragile. The radiate is about 7 seconds from completing. That is a lot of mutilis. They are playing with fire, knowing that these vessels are right here. He's got to turn around. He has to turn around. Oh, they're all clumping. Also, it's going to be so hard to split these. Perfect irradiates. Deals so much damage. Goodbye, mutilis. All of the bio goes down, but this is 5 barracks. Doesn't matter. All the mutilis also fall down. This is going to be game 7 going over to Light. There's just nothing left for Zero. He's all in too. There's just nothing. There's no Hydrogen, no Queen's Nest, no nothing. Coming in with Lings, but it's too much bio. Look how much bio there is. Jeez, there's so much bio. GG. So Light takes game 7. He's up 4-3. He's 1 game away from taking the series, but again, this is a 9-game series. Regardless of score, all games are being played. Now our next map is going to be Blockchain, another older ASL map, an instant veto map for me, but it has actually had a lot of interesting games on it. The Terran versus Protoss games were more interesting than I actually thought they were going to be. Terran versus Zerg, also more oh, whoops, I accidentally sped up the replay. So we do have Light at top left, we've got Zero at bottom right, and one of the styles that we know is very popular on here is the 2-hatch or 3-hatch ultra style. And because this map was played so long ago, Light may not remember exactly how to play this map. Maybe. I mean, they're pros, so they probably remember everything. But he's going to have to remember how to play versus a Zerg that's more than likely going to play very defensive on 2 bases. Get a 3rd base up, not for free, but pretty much for free, since these eggs block the entrances into middle bases everywhere. So we do have finally a deviation from Light. He's going for a wall off at his natural as opposed to his main. Now, the last time I saw him go for something like this was, as I've been saying all day long, he loves race. And I remember seeing him go for, I think it was even 3 Starport Wraith on 2 bases. And you can just add an SCV to your clump of race. The SCV will just continuously move, trying to get out of their base. And you can just micro it just like you're microing Mutilis. Now there's the gas. So this does look like, so far, we could have some Wraith play. This kind of does limit Zerg's ability to just go straight into 2-3 base ultra with the 3 gas. Drone comes in, instant depot from Light. Does not want to let this drone get in here and scout exactly what's going on, so this is a very smart move. SCV. Ooh, I thought that drone might glitch through. Well, this SCV is probably dead based on the drone control we saw last game. What? What? What was that? How did that SCV get through? Well, anyways, we've got Zero going for a 3-hatch before pool, so he's powering like a madman. I'm going to have to re-watch what just happened with this SCV, but it managed to survive when it should have been 100% dead. Meanwhile, second SCV has gotten out. Drone's going to kill it for sure. It's going to die. 3 hatch before pool though. The wall kind of gives it away that the Terran player is teching really hard. Factory's about done. We do not have a fast starport, or we're not going to have a fast starport since we're not mining 3 on gas, at least not just yet. And light is going to take top middle. Ooh, not. I think that the Overlord actually saw it. He is just going to continue to scout through the right side of the map. SCV does come in. Okay, and he's going to get into the main and see that this was 3 hatch. He may not know if this is 3 hatch before pool, probably can guess though. But command center going down at the natural, add on onto the factory. So this might be another vulture play. This may just be a proxy starport here. Maybe. Or the SCV may just sit here and wait for potential third base. There is the starport, and this is going to be speed again. Now everything does look very similar to Gladiator game where it was bio play follow-up, but I'm not convinced just yet that this is going to be bio. This could definitely be some Wraith play or some type of vulture drop play. Vulture comes out, clears out that lane. And Zero responding pretty much perfectly. He's got a sunken set up. He's gonna try and take mid right. So this is gonna be the third base going up for free, like I was talking about. And that is going to be a Wraith again. So everything does look very similar. I wonder if there's gonna be any deviation at all from light. We saw him pick apart Zero with this build on Polypoid. Just absolutely decimated him, trying to transfer those drones to take a third base. That's going to be a fast Overlord going down. Doesn't supply block him just yet, but that is painful. Gas going up at the natural 2. So everything looks pretty much the same. There's going to be Science Facility coming in. So it is again going to be 1-1-1. Vulture not able to really deny the third base at all. It is just going to get a little bit of vision. Spire is about halfway done. Hydralisk Den is done. A couple Hydras to push back the Wraith. Tank already being made. Wow, that is a extremely fast tank. Now remember, light has been in the dark for a long time, and Zero has been aggressive most of the games these days, so I don't mind the tank. Especially versus Hydras, which could have range, and we have a wall, where 100% of the time the depots will get picked off. So this is a nice defensive tank. Or he may just be slowly building up his tank count. If he's slowly building it up, these tanks are so fast. Actually so fast. But that just means when he actually moves out, instead of having like, I think the normal 3 to 5 tanks, he's probably going to have like 5 to 7. So it's going to be a lot of damage being shelled out from these tanks. Wraith continues to scout. Doesn't see really anything abnormal. Spire did complete. Eggs instantly morphed, so he knows that Mutalisks are coming. He did see mid right too, so he knows that the third base is up. And now we finally see a cut into the tank production. And when you build tanks this quickly, remember tanks are 150 minerals, so that is potentially an academy. It's also a barracks, so it does cut into your marine and bio production. So he's got to be careful to not overbuild tanks because it really cut into his timing pretty considerably. Wraith does get intercepted and taken out, but it's seen what it needed to see. Vessel's already out. Irradiate is done. But Academy, like I was saying, was cut into because he built these tanks, but I think these were defensive tanks in case there was a bust. And now he has gone back into normal 1-1-1 play. This vessel really wants to get an irradiate off. Yeah, it's a pretty good one. An equally good split off though. Zero does see that the next few barracks are coming down, so it's going to be a total of 5 barracks. Turret. Is that enough damage to kill the turret? No. So he has stopped building Mutalisks. It's only 6, now down to 3. He has started wow, that's an extremely fast hive. So fast hive follow-up, 4-0. He is going for the armor rush, so this could again be fast ultras, which is one of the things I hate about blockchain, is they can take 3 gas so easily and it's so hard to punish them. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. It's going to be mass Ling, mass ultra. We saw Nada go for his infamous nuke rush versus Larva, and it was not able to connect in time. But this is one of the builds that could work versus a style like what Zero is going for. We don't see it this time. There's actually a Defiler mount. I'm pretty surprised that this is a Defiler mount and not an Ultralisk Cavern. But I guess he's just going to go for the tried and true Defiler play, at least for right now. He doesn't have any lurkers, but it doesn't matter as long as his Lings can just sit there and buy time. Okay, lurker upgrade does complete, so he needs to start morphing them pretty soon. Zero or Light is out on the map. He does see that the bio ball is not that big, but it's slowly building and building, especially with 5 barracks. And the tank count is also not that huge. Despite building 2 tanks very early in the game, we only have 3 of them. +1 armor is about to kick in for Zerg. Defiler consume is about 25% of the way done. 3rd base is nicely saturated for Zero, and he's taking a 4th base at top right. But this is a strong push. Very strong push. +1 weapon just kicks in. It's going to match the armor upgrade of the Zerg any moment now. And this is 4 vessels. He can irradiate every single lurker here. He only blew 1 irradiate. He's found top right, so this is going to be an eviscerated main at top right. But that does expose his main. Luckily for him, he preemptively built 3 firebats. Firebats so powerful versus a counterattack like this. He does stem. Watch these Lings melt. There's not that many Mutalisks here. Firebats doing work. They dealt so much damage. Almost kills all of the Lings. And now top right is gone. So 4th base for Zerg is gone. That's a lot of Ling lurker here coming though. But it's 5 barracks. I think for sure he can hold this off. He needs to make sure that he is careful though. If there was a Defiler here, this may have broken the natural. But I don't see a Defiler anywhere. It's just Lings and lurkers. And as long as it's just Lings and lurkers, oh my gosh, he might intercept this Defiler. If this Defiler goes down, this attack is done. He cannot lose this. Defiler doesn't have enough energy for Dark Swarm. Did he see it? He does see it, and that's going to be a dead Defiler now. He's desperately trying to consume something so he can get off 1 Dark Swarm. Ooh, he luckily gets off a Dark Swarm there. Buys him a little bit of time. But irradiate onto these other lurkers are going to take them out. And this is still a huge bio ball from Light. Zero, you can see he's getting desperate trying to take bottom left now. He's floating a lot of resources because he was expecting to have his top right base up and running. Ultra's Cavern just now starts. More Lings and lurkers streaming across the map. Darkstorm does go down, so he's able to actually push the Terran back just a little bit. But these lurkers got cleared out, and all that's left really for now is just pure Ling. There's 1 lurker. That's really not enough. Meanwhile, Zerg's +2 armor is about halfway done. Terran's +2 weapon is about halfway done. So both players really nailing their upgrades. But I'm loving Light's position right now. He's kept Zerg in check. They're only on 3 gas. The vessel count is still extremely high. He's got Firebats with his army. It's almost pure Ling at this point. He's consistently irradiated the Defiler. That's going to go down. He's not going to get up another important Dark Swarm anywhere. And now, Light is right on Zerg's doorstep. I don't think he's going to be able to push through, but he does have a lot of Science Vessels, so he can irradiate. Zero trying to push it back. Looks like he'll be able to push it back for now, but the vessel count is just so high. Is he going to lose 1 right here? Oh, Light might have overstepped. That's so many great focus fire right there, taking out 1 of the Scourge to make sure he doesn't lose any of his vessels. Meanwhile, a drop coming to bottom left. There's only a couple Lings here, so this should be able to get taken down. But saving the vessels was so important. Absolutely huge. It is mandatory that he keeps these vessels up, especially against the Zerg that's starting to go haywire, taking 5 base, bottom, middle, and bottom left. This His hatchery is going to fall. Another attack in the center of the map. None of the Scourge connect. All of the vessels remain. And Zero, he's in trouble. He's not able to connect any of his Scourge onto these vessels. The dropship is still alive. It could potentially go and kill bottom middle. And the Nidus is not done yet. So this base is potentially going to go down. Great interception with the Scourge right there from Zero. But he's floating a lot of resources. Expect to see 5 to 6 Ultras pretty soon. But I still like Terran's position quite a bit. He's now gone into completely SK Terran. There's no factory anywhere. He's floated it off, I think. In the center of the map, yes, in the center of the map. Now this could backfire because tanks are actually very good versus Ultras if you just leave them stationed in key positions, such as on the ledge right here. But he is just going to go for pure bio play. He's got +3 weapon coming in. Zerg is trying to find connections onto these science vessels, but he's still not able to find any success just yet. +3 armor has started for the Zerg too, so both players are very similar on upgrades. But there's really no answer to these vessels. Plague goes off, but that's not a huge deal. He's going to be able to get all of these lurkers now. We see that Zero just spent a bunch of his resources, but again, still not able to kill any of the vessels. We do need to see more army syncing up for Terran, though. This is a decent army, but it's not huge. It also has no fire bats. So a Dark Swarm or a Plague can just have his whole army get wiped very quickly. That's Scourge coming in again. Not able to find anything. Now Lings did open up an access or a path to access mid left, but Light is still on 2 base. His main has got to be mined out pretty soon. Yeah, it is almost mined out. He only has about 200 on each mineral patch there, so he needs to start taking a 3rd base. Otherwise, he's going to mine out. He's also floating a lot of gas, and that's one of the side effects of not having that factory. He's not able to use his gas as efficiently as possible. Ultralisk coming out. They have +4 armor, but it's only one of them, so he's not really too scared of that. And Light is feeling confident to take top right, but I don't think he really has that good of map control to go for that. How are these vessels alive? Okay, finally, one of them gets taken down. But now we're in the danger zone because there's 5 vessels all plagued. I'm wondering if there's any Mutalisk left out on this map. If there was, these vessels would all go bye-bye instantly. Slow Ultras getting irradiated. They should be able to get picked off pretty easily if Light wants to. He's just irradiating all of them. So these Ultras are all going to die. Looks like there's a drop potentially down at bottom middle, or at least he's trying to drop there. But Ultras and Sunkens are in position, and I'm worried that we're just going to mine out. Also, how do we actually get to top right? I don't think we can transfer. Zerg has had such good econ for such a long time. He's on 4 base. He's got 4 gas running. He's got +3 armor pretty soon versus a Terran. Sure, Terran's army is very strong too. He's got a lot of vessels also, but he doesn't have that overwhelming bio count. It's not 130 to like 90 or something. Meanwhile, drop gets picked off again. This is going to get cleaned up. If Terran was at like 170, I love their position. But because we're so close, 130 to 118, doesn't feel like Terran's army is that strong. 3-2 just now kicks in. +3 armor has just kicked in for the Zerg. He's also got +1 weapon. And now he's got so many defilers, so many lurkers, and there's so few vessels. I think this is just Zero's game to lose. He needs to, of course, be very careful with his army. He can't just throw it at him. But a well-connected Plague, a couple Dark Swarms, I think he's got this. But Light does have top right up and running. I'd like to see him put down a couple barracks or a factory or something, because it's so easy to reinforce here. I think this is also opened up for Zerg. You get to potentially take that route to get there. And there's a lot of links, okay, and they're going to find top right. Ooh, move command, losing so many units to these Lings. It's still 120 to 115 supply though, but these Lings, like I said, they find top right, and he's going to save it But now Zerg knows about this. Oh, Light's falling apart. He lost another vessel. He's trying to irradiate all of these units, but they're just hiding in the Nidus. So funny. He's able to save all of them. None of them are going to take any damage to irradiate. He still has 5 vessels though, but I think this is just too many Ultralists. Too many Ultras, too many Lings, too many Defilers. There's also no... Oh my god, that's a lot of vessels. That is 9 vessels. 11 vessels! Okay, Light. Let's see if he can actually control all these. Because if he can, then... D-Matrix vessel. Let's go! Get that Defiler. He just doesn't want to cast Irradiate. Oh, and then he just baits him into a Plague. But Zerg has taken the supply lead. It's 126 to 121. But I don't think Zero expects there to be 11 Irradiates. But Irradiate is great, but unless you can cast them... Oh my... This is a lot of Marines. Damn, this is a ton of Marines. I feel like we need some more fire bats though. But Terran has started to build barracks at top right. He's going to start fortifying that. He's running down middle, trying to get these Defilers with his vessels. One vessel going to fall. Ultras irradiated are just dealing so much damage to these Marines. But there's no support for these Ultras. Where is the actual army from Zerg? There's so much Terran, but where is Zerg's army? They're even in supply. Where is the actual army? I don't see it. Bottom left has 5 Ultras, but that's not 60 supply worth of units. Irradiate doing so much damage. Plague, that's a whiff. Dark Swarm is great. The Nidus is going to go down. Both of them. There's triple Nidus, so where's this one actually connect to? It's the mid left. Ultras are going for a counterattack. There's not that much defense here, but it's only 5 Ultras. An SCV drill would be amazing. Meanwhile, Zerg is holding on by the skin of his teeth with just Dark Swarm and Lings. Now the Ultras are popping out, but there's no fire bats that can't actually bust through. Ultras trying to get into top left. SCVs are doing the best they can, but I think Zero has just busted through. There's too many Ultras. Irradiated Ultras are just dealing so much damage to this Marine ball. They can also just hold position under Dark Swarm, and now top left is getting ransacked, and this is going to be Zero, I think, evening up the score. 4-4 supplies have plummeted for Light. It's 130 supply to 70. What a slugfest. 4-4 in a 9-game series, and we know that they're going to be playing versus each other in the next couple days. That's crazy. So, ASL Finals, if you were not excited for it, you better be now, because this series, every single game has been great. Every single one, including the one where the Vulture got caught by the drone. So it's coming down to the wire. This is the last game. It's the 9th map. 9th map. And what did they decide on? Oh, okay. They decided to play on Hitchhiker as the last map. We just saw a fantastic game in ASL a few days ago. Hitchhiker Flash versus Zero. So let's see if Light plays that same build that Flash did, or was this a unique Flash style that they ended up playing against each other a few days ago. So top left, we've got Light, and in the bottom right, we've got Zero. So Hitchhiker, I have nightmares about this map. There's very few maps that it pains me, but this is one of them. And it's not necessarily the map that pains me. Well, okay, it's the map. It's not necessarily the design of the map. How can I word this? It's the design, and also the fact that at the time which Hitchhiker came out, Dark Swarm was a new thing, and also Mutalisk control was a somewhat new thing where people were actually starting to perfect it. So the combination of the design, the map terrain, then dealing with Mutalisk harassment, and then also dealing with Dark Swarm was just a nightmare on here. So I'm waiting to see how Light is going to react to this map, because it's a very unusual map we have another 8 Rex coming in for him. This time not 8 gas like we saw on Sylphid. It's going to be a somewhat standard follow-up. I am a little surprised that the 8 racks is not positioned somewhere else on the map, because I don't play this ever. I'm not too sure where else he could have put it, but I was thinking that he could position it like anywhere closer towards 0 and potentially float it somewhere. Maybe. I'm just throwing out ideas. Whoa, 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 whoa. What's this? 2 racks on 1 base. Okay, Light. So Light also doesn't like this map because he's going for it. He's going to risk it all in this best of 9 decider match. 2 racks, 1 base. I imagine that this is also going to be an SCV pool. We are not messing around here. Building up as many SCVs as possible. This may also be Marine Medic. It may just be pure Marines. I honestly think this is going to be pure Marines. Keep his SCV alive as long as possible and drill and go for it. Oh, he's going to just continuously send across the map. He wants to get a bunker down. I'm actually kind of surprised that he showed this. But because in the olden days of Terran versus Zerg, Zerg would respond with a sunken after this got held because they didn't want to build Lings. But now, because Zerg doesn't build sunkens that often and kind of just rely on Lings, maybe it's okay to just show this. 1 SCV is doing a lot of work. It manages to fall, but the Marines didn't get surrounded. Also, he's just barely out of range of being able to drill. So he actually can't drill onto this. Okay, Lings are out. Marines are going to have to pull back, but this is 5 Marines. I think he can fight this, can't he? SCV plus 5 Marines? That's 7 Marines. And like I was saying, Zergs these days do not build Sunkens. Oh, actually, he is going Marine Medic. I am surprised that he is going Marine Medic. I thought for sure we're going to see like a mass Marine SCV pull. There's the Sunken. I don't think... Oh, did he get the Overlord? He supply blocked him. Somehow, he got vision of that Overlord, catches it, and that is a huge block. That's going to delay the drone production for so long. Now, what does Zero want to do? This map is made for Mutalisk. The potential angles you can go for is just crazy. But you can also kill these temples along the side of the map with lurkers. Sure, they take forever, but you can do it. So, we haven't seen lurkers all day long. Doesn't look like we're going to have lurkers this game either. Not surprising, but it is an option on this map. I'm so confused at what's going on. We're going into a tank push, and I just don't know if this can actually work. The Spire is starting. The factory, sure, it's about 75% of the way done, but then you got to get the add-on, then you got to get it tank, you got to get siege mode, and you got to push across the map. Whereas Zero, if he can get up, what's the magic number to two-shot a tank? I'm thinking it's 9 Mutalisks times 2 shots, maybe? So if he can get up 9 Mutalisks or 10 Mutalisks, he can two-shot a tank. But this position has a lot of area to build a ton of bunkers. Now, we know that it's a tank push. Zero doesn't know that. He just knows that there's a lot of Marines coming. So these 4 Sunkens will be able to fend it off. But if he can get up a fortified position, like a bunker contain here, maybe he can push through with some tanks. But that leaves your tanks so exposed from the back that I just don't really know if a tank push can work. There's a reason you don't ever see this anymore. It's just Mutalisks are too punishing. But Light is going to go for it. He's going to go back old school. This is a build you saw literally in 1999 on Lost Temple. Here comes Siege and Siege tank and Siege mode. Now he desperately needs to get range. There's no way he has range right now. He desperately also needs to be sending an SCV with this. Okay, 3 SCVs, and he needs an eBay. There's the eBay. It's putting back onto gas. He needs range right now. There is range. So this is it for him. He's going to try and make it work. This is a lot of sunkens. It's 5 sunkens. But it's only 1 tank. Free hit right there. Free hit right there. Oh, if this tank goes down, it's over. Oh, it's over. Goodbye. So that's anticlimactic. Tank gets instantly picked off and this whole push is over. So it's going to be Zero taking this series because it's near impossible to stop 2 hatch Muta on 1 base, especially when you don't have any science facility or starport. And these Mutalists may even just fight the Marines 1-on-1. They just might go for it straight up. Oh, well, this was a disappointing game to end on. But overall, the series was amazing. GG. Light types out. That's going to be 5-4 for Zero. Wow. So I'm excited for ASL. Even though every single game, or almost every single game, was about 10 minutes long, this was a pretty quick best of 9 or 9-game series. Every game was good. And we saw differing builds every single time. We didn't see any lurkers from Zero, so we may end up seeing that in the actual ASL finals. But overall, a very good series. And if you like this, make sure you tune into the next cast. There may be future StarCraft End of the World cast just like this too.